2 massive showcases, dozens of world premieres, and the future of gaming has completely changed.
So grab a drink. We're breaking down every single major announcement from the Summer Games Fest and the Xbox Showcase in this special bonus episode of Gaming Views.
Dan with a gaming flair, pixel dreams and worlds to share, joystick tales and button cues. Welcome to Gaming Views.
Hello and welcome to a double bubble of Gaming Views this week as Dan P and I explore the Summer Games Fest and Xbox Showcase. Dan, how you feeling? We literally just walked out of the Xbox, so not literally because we're not there.
If only,
but
next year.
We're literally just left the Xbox Showcase. We'll get into detail about both of them, but first, how are you?
I think I'm recovering. Yeah. I'm getting there.
You've not been very well, have you?
No, definitely better than the last episode we were recording. So
yeah, it's been a hot minute. That was Friday, right? And this is Sunday, so yeah.
Was it Friday?
I know.
Oh, well,
yeah, it was Friday. You were that shocked right at the episode around that quickly, right?
Yeah, it's funny, right? Again, digressing already, but
I wasn't Friday. It was Wednesday. I'm lying completely. I'm lying. I spoke to you Friday. Oh my god.
We hadn't recorded for a couple of weeks, and now with one tomorrow night, we're going to have recorded 4 episodes in a week. So it's like we're making up for lost time.
Nailing it, mate. Yeah. Nailing that podcast vibe.
I am okay, Dan. You?
I'm all right, yeah. I'm just filling time because we're not going to do the usual what we've been playing because it hasn't been very long. And we're not going to do the usual random news because we just need to get into this because there's some big reveals.
It's a bonus.
Both of these. It's a bonus.
It's a bonus episode. Bonus gaming views.
Bonus gaming views. You lucky people. So let's do this way. Let's cover them in chunks. I'm not going to go through every game because I think if we did that, it might be a 4-hour episode. But let's talk about some of the big reveals out of Summer Games Fest and keep that a bit compartmentalised because that covered a big broad spectrum. And then we'll do a bit on the Xbox Showcase, which should be fresh in our minds because we've literally just finished watching it.
Yeah, you watch us. Yeah. You watch us ruin that.
Yeah, you just watch us completely forget what happened 5 minutes ago. Good. All right, let's do it. Let's start with, why don't you tell us, how did you feel about Summer Games Fest this year, Dan? What's your thoughts overall? I
said to you, didn't I? I don't know if it's me being under the weather because Friday night I wasn't particularly well at all. But it's a difficult one. I didn't think it was a great show. I thought last year's one from memory was better. And it's a weird one because, look, they showed a lot of games and I guess they can only work with what they've got. I just thought the show felt a bit flat to me. I mean, it's weird. Even at the start, they looked like there was a lot of empty seats in the arena or the hall they were in. To me, it looked like there was.
Yes.
And
it did look empty, yeah.
Yeah, even on the stage, I don't know, like, if I remember, like, last year, didn't they have, like, Miss Piggy doing a bit with, like, Jeff Keighley? And I know you had Jigsaw this year, but it just, I don't know, the whole show just felt a bit flat to me.
Yeah, Jigsaw. We'll get to that. Yeah, I agree. Although I was reading an article today and someone was saying that basically they were there and they were saying actually it was a really good vibe in the theatre, you know, about what was happening. And you know, I think it's fair. There were a few good games in there. You know, there was some really nice announcements in there, which we'll come around to. But I felt the same as you. I didn't. You know, I kind of watched it. I think there was a lot of anticipation about what might be announced and what could come up. Yeah. And none of that actually came up.
And I'm probably to blame for that for you as well, wasn't I?
No, I'd already did. If you'd seen me commenting on Game Club Pod's stream, they were chatting and they had a wild card in. So what we're alluding to, people, was Dan had put a wild card in on their stream that halfway through had been announced, and I wrote on there, who the fuck put Half-Life 3? And they went, oh, well, actually, it was your co-host, and I was like, I'm fucking having words.
And I will tell you why. I just thought, in all my wisdom, that there was going to be a Steam machine reveal. I know they've already said summer this year, but I thought there'd be a bit on it. And then I thought they'd also say, and it's launching alongside Half-Life 3. And I honestly thought it was going to happen.
What you've done there, mate, is really let yourself down because you said in all your wisdom. So the complete amount of your wisdom has now just been completely blown out of the water because none of that happened.
It's hope and dreams.
Opium.
Yeah. But also, sorry, I was going to say, and whether we'll come to it at the end, I just thought the final reveal was a choice. Again, not saying it's bad. And look, I if I sound down on this to people, or stop shouting at me, because I've picked 10 games to the show for me and 6 I'm interested in. So look, I'm not complaining about the games. I just thought the show itself, and like I said, the final reveal, I don't know, I thought, yeah, I just felt last year's were better. And, spoiler alert, we kind of said, for me, the Sony and the Xbox shows felt better. And I don't know if it's because they just do away with the human element, for want of a better thing. I don't know.
There is some of that. And if we're ranking the human appearances in shows, for me, Xbox was the best one because it was top and tailed, and that was it, and very short and sharp. And then it's a tough toss up. I don't mind Jeff Keighley; he's all right, but
nothing against him.
Sony.
Yeah, it's nothing against him. I'm just wondering now if like it's just for a game show, you just want to, unless you're doing something around it, like if it was a much bigger fanfare, like like the BAFTAs, I thought that was good because they had people come out to announce it. Was slightly different, granted, but they had lots of people come out. There was lots more interaction. I think it works. I don't know. I just feel like when you're doing something like this, maybe it's just better to just roll them games out and almost don't give yourself a chance to breathe, almost.
Which is exactly what Xbox did, right?
Yeah.
The biggest disappointment of all 3 is that that Puppet boxing game didn't show up again.
Oh yes, yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. It had a really funny name, but that hasn't showed up.
Yeah, I want to be careful because I'll probably say something completely. Yeah, I'll probably. I don't want to say something completely wrong.
Anyway, all right. All right. So should we do that? So let's rather than going through huge announcements. Felt that. That was felt that. Yeah. See, what a good name. Rather than going through every single announcement, let's talk about the games that caught your attention. Where do you want to go? Well, let's do one on one. Let's you go. I'll go. How about that?
Okay, I have got. I mean, in a particular order, but not necessarily in a massively particular order. The number one for me was Resi Evil Veronica.
I thought it might be.
Yeah. So if you've listened to our main episode this week, and if you listen to next week's episode, so I've just completed Resident Evil 9 and really enjoyed that. And it's probably my favourite one of the series. And I think what it is these remakes I'm starting to really enjoy a lot more. And I've never played Code Veronica. And so, yeah, having just come off of 9, Requiem, yeah, I'm really interested in this. The reveal was a bit weird, especially at the start. I wasn't sure what kind of game it was. So the old lady's apartment
starts off, ringing a bell in an old lady's apartment in France.
Yeah, so I don't know if it means something to people. If it's linked to the original, and like I said, not having played it, but I almost thought it was like some weird new broken sword game. Because
like a first person. Yeah.
That's where I was going initially, but. Yeah, like I said, I think Capcom at the moment, especially are on a roll. So I can't see them dropping the ball. Having said that, now though, watch out.
Could happen.
But yeah, So for me, I'm kind of I've picked that as one of my top picks.
Yeah. So I'm I'll let's talk about things we hadn't seen before because we can go on to things we knew about. So I really like the look of the one from the ex Naughty Dog creators, Crossfire.
Okay, yeah,
which is weird because I'm sure there's another game called Crossfire that is a shooty first person shooter type thing. But this looked really interesting. This is the dynamic cover element and look, we've had dynamic cover in games since dynamic cover was invented, but the way they were using this, the way it becomes almost a part of your character to have to use it, looked really interesting. I quite like the kind of future state Battlefield type things, like, you know, the active camo and things like that. I like those elements. So that's No Moon, I think, was the developers. That looked really interesting to me. Look, we didn't get an awful lot of it. It's clearly still in quite early stages, but what we did see looked quite polished.
Yeah, I had that on my list, and I'm just going to search what I said to you, because I said it felt like just on the trailer that, there we go. I said it was giving me vibes of Spec Ops: The Line crossed with Death Stranding, and then you said with a bit pinch of The Last of Us in it.
Yeah, but in The Last of Us, the kind of character dynamic, the two characters, you know, a bit standoffish, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I really like the look of it. I like the setting. I like the pace of the trailer. Look, there's not a lot we can tell about it until you actually get your hands on or see some actual, you know, more gameplay footage. But yeah, it looked very, very interesting.
Yeah. What else did I have in terms of new stuff? I had Blood Message.
That was on my list too. Yeah.
So what was that? That was the vampire one, wasn't it? So
no, this is Blood Message.
Oh, sorry. Yes. No.
9th century China.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many blood games.
There are many.
Yeah, and having, you know, just recently also started playing Ghost of Tsushima. It's kind of given me that vibe to want to play more of games in this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be the same, but again, the trailer just looked like it was that action packed. It looks stunning. I mean, a lot of these ones on that were shown all look stunning. And yeah, it just looks like it's going to deliver a solid action game. I think that's kind of all I can say. I mean, at the moment, like I said, none of these trailers were particularly massive in terms of length, right?
No, and there seems to be an awful lot of this resurgence of you know, Chinese or Japanese swordplay games. There's an awful lot of them coming out. We saw, you know, Phantom Blade Zero, and we saw a number of them in Sony's, and we saw a couple in Xboxes as well. The funniest thing for this game though, when Jeff Keighley announced it, he talks about it. He says it's about a messenger and his son traveling ancient China to what part of that trainer told you that he was delivering? I mean, that ain't Royal Mail, was it? That was, do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the message is at the tip of a sword, I guess, right? Maybe. I mean that's pretty extreme.
Cut most people's heads off, but
I've got a message for you. What's that?
yeah. I'm not sure it was that sort of message, but whatever. Well, this one we didn't see any gameplay, but super excited for it, mainly because I've read the books. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. I won't spoil the story because people want to get into the cells, but suffice to say that The Last Ronin is about it's set in the future, kind of 30, 40 years into the future of the Turtles, maybe even longer, and only one of them has survived. And it's about their journey to take down this corporation, working with people, and some people that you've seen previously in the comics who are older and things like that. A bit like Dark Knight Returns, but for Turtles. And the fact they're making a game bit, because unfortunately the movie that had been planned got shelved, but the fact they're making a game bit and it's been developed by Platinum Games, I think should speak volumes. You know, they know their shit when it comes to kind of fast-moving action games. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Looking forward to seeing more of it, certainly. That's for sure.
Yeah, I put that in my intrigued by list, mainly because we didn't see much of it. So I want to see more. But yeah, it was interesting when you spoke to me about it afterwards, because I wasn't aware of this story, The Last Ronin. So when I first saw it, you know, you hear the music, I thought it was like a crossover, a game crossing over with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I thought it was a collaboration of sort. But you know, when you said what it was, yeah, I'm definitely, you know, firstly I want to read the story. I want to read the book as well.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and you sent me a link to a nice, pricey but nice collection of it. Which
I think you get much cheaper than that. That was. But
that looks nice though. That looks nice though. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in this, because it again, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for me was one of those things that is part of my childhood, but you know, I'm going to say necessarily hasn't really done well in modern media. Well, when I was a kid, those Teenage Turtle films weren't necessarily the greatest. I know there's been a couple recently.
No, that's you.
Cartoons are great, and I know there's been a handful of games, but this feels like it's going to really scratch the itch for what looks like that serious sort of dark, somber kind of game.
Yeah, Tales is a real weird one because I'm of an age where, you know, I started collecting the Tales comics when Eastman and Laird did them back in the day when they were very adult focused, and then they got, you know, Hollywoodized, and they became, certainly in the UK, they became Teenage Mutant Hero Tales because apparently you could say ninja in the cartoon, with a very catchy theme tune. But since then, they've almost stayed in that kind of boundary. You know, I know Michael Bay tried to, you know, polish them up with a bit of Megan Fox and stuff, which was very weird. But, you know, the movies were okay, but they weren't great.
Yeah.
This is kind of a return to that real adult focused, you know, Turtles. I mean, they're fucking ninjas. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, they kind of beat people over the head with a stick in the cartoons and then give you a moral of the day. But, you know, more He-Man than Turtle.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to this, and it's where in my heart, because that's the age that I've found them, that's where they belong, in that much more adult tier of, you know, and by adult, you know what I mean, like, you know, violent language and no weird stuff with Turtles. So looking forward to that one. What else you got on your list?
Let's do the one I mixed up earlier because I kind of said it's a Blood of the Dawnwalker.
Oh man, yeah, I know we were going to talk about games that haven't been announced, but that trailer ripped, mate. That trailer looks so good.
Well, this was one. If maybe I've forgotten about it then, but I'd completely forgotten any announcement of this. Right
now, there's a reason for that. Because my
memory is awful.
No. Do you remember? It was the vampire game. It's made by the ex-devs of The Witcher.
Right.
So the ex-devs of The Witcher 3 have moved on to create Blood of the Dawnwalker. And this is that story. You've never seen it set in present day. It's always been the ancient.
Right.
It's the one where you have like, I don't know, 72 hours or 3 days, or whatever it is, to save your family. But time only moves on when you do certain actions, and you can at night you have a route to do things, and in the day, and you can take multiple quest paths to do things depending on the time of day. It's that game, but presented in an entirely different way, like in modern times in the trailer, and I'll put the trailer up, people can see it. It looks phenomenal still.
Yeah, and look, and I love a vampire game. You know, I do. I've just bought Bloodlines 2 for my sins, but I do love the whole vampire mechanic that you get in it. And this again just looks stunning. That, you know, the combat is visceral. It's going to scratch that itch for me again, for that kind of like that single player, sort of story driven, supernatural, thriller kind of game.
Yeah, there's a lot of early puzzle around that looks really, really strong. And yeah, I am very much looking forward to getting hands on with it when it comes out. And it's, again, we will talk about this a bit more because thanks Sony and everyone else, this is a September this year game. So this is going to be, I do wonder how many of these end up getting pushed, but yeah, this is September the 3rd, this one. So it's, very, very close.
Yeah. What's next for you?
So I'm not going to talk about the game or the demo because but this is 1666. This is Amsterdam 1666. So this is ex-devs from Assassin's Creed. I did download the demo and played through it on Steam. I'm not going to talk about it here. We'll save that for what we've been playing on the next episode. So please tune in for that. But this is essentially, it's witches. That's like, watch the trailer. You get a very, which is surprising because I'm pretty sure the next Assassin's Creed Hex is based around witches.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the next one is going to be set in, wherever it is, Salem or maybe, or maybe people were confusing it with this being like, because they've talked about Assassin's Creed Hex for ages. But yeah, so they've spun off and they've done their own thing. It was interesting. I think it could go some really strong places. And it's certainly got a vibe to the trailer. Heavy red, lots of red, and lots of the kind of flash cuts and the, scripture and a little bit of flavor of, what's the witch horror movie thing that I've seen? The famous one. That one.
There's the famous one.
Definitely Witch. Yeah,
Blair
but
Witch.
lots of that Blair Witch, lots of that symbolism type stuff and things like that. God, these podcasts are old when you're old. But yeah, I think it looks really interesting. The thing for me about this, unfortunately, was a lot of the action, as it were covered in that kind of red smear, so you couldn't tell a lot of what was going on.
Yeah.
But you do get a couple of trailers in the demo, like a pre and post in the demo, that give you a bit more of an idea about what they could look at. And like the demo's 30 minutes long or something, it's not very long. But yeah, I think it gives you a little bit of a flavour as to what it's like. But yeah, I think it looks really, really interesting. So yeah, I'm up for a bit of Amsterdam 1666.
Yeah, I had that on my list as well. It's what I was thinking about while you were saying that as well is that these shows, there's a lot of these sort of like single player story kind of games that are coming out, which I love, and long live that. But it feels like there's a lot of these kind of cinematic type games that
I don't think there was across the pitch. I don't think there was a single live service game, not one that's already in existence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think yes, we've had Sea of Thieves and things like that happened, but there wasn't one new announcement for it. There was no High Guard, there was no Concord, there was none of that. It was all very much either single player focused, maybe a couple of multiplayer thrown in there, and then just some actually we're going back and visiting this thing. That's a constant thing. We seem to be digging into the past a lot to come up with games. Even something like Resident Evil Veronica is a remake of an older game. Final Fantasies are churning them out. They're all older games, but there seems to be a lot of that going on as well, which is interesting to kind of go back in. And just looking down this list, there are a number that have kind of gone, like Star Wars Galactic Races, that we've had one of those. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, we've had one of those. A lot of this is, I wonder how quickly we move on and stop looking to the past. But there were a few in there. So what's next on your list?
Next, I think this is a new announcement, but I'm going to go for Cuphead Adventure.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's
the
two
16-bit style.
Yeah, there was technically two announcements, wasn't there? There's a new game that is unannounced. But what I will say is I generally, I want to see the game. I want to see the in-game footage. But they did do quite a fun trailer with like a puppet, didn't they? A newsreader.
They did, yeah.
And it was silly, and again, maybe because I was ill, I found it funny, but like the phone on his desk worked. And he goes like, oh, I didn't know that worked. And then he turns the camera and then the headline comes up at the bottom, phone works or something,
Yeah.
But yeah, the main one they showed was, Cuphead Adventure, which is almost basically, he's like Cuphead, but in, 8-bit? So it kind of looked like Mega Man kind of thing. It kind of had like that sort of vibe.
It was, to me, it had a very Sonic style vibe, or, but it was, because I think it was 16-bit. And then you told me something earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, they're actually going to release it on a Mega Drive cart. Yeah.
Super cool, right?
I love stuff like that. Stuff like that.
Super cool.
But, I like Cuphead. Am I good at it? No, but I really enjoy Cuphead. So to not be good at it in a 2D side on sort of 16-bit, I think is great. So
that's fair.
Cuphead Adventure,
yeah. I know. I never played Cuphead. It always looked incredible, but never played it. No, because I think I went to and then someone said it's really hard, and I was like, I've got time for that.
It's still fun. Give it a go.
Alrighty. So Hex.
Oh, it was next on me.
Hex. Yeah, let's talk about Hex. So this looked a little bit weird. Again, made up of, they were made out, look, if you had that bingo of, made up of a studio of, AAA ex-devs, you would get hitting that beat all over the place. This was made up of ex-devs from Division and Little Nightmares. It's a 1 to 4 player co-op, which isn't normally my vibe, but given that the one based on Control, the FBC Control one, was quite fun, this looked all right. So, it's set in the Nordic wilderness, and from the vibe that I'm getting, you have a sentient companion cube that you can upgrade to get alien traversal abilities, and then you reshape the open world in weird and random, wonderful ways. Looked very, very cool. I like a game that looks super cool. Even if I don't play it, I still like I like the vibe it's giving out, and this gives out that style of vibe. I really do. I really was enjoying that trailer. What about you?
Yeah, I had that on the list because again, I couldn't work out what it was going to be. Almost, it's so I kind of got the Division vibe a little bit from it, when they're all running. But that you've then got that puzzle element, haven't you, with the cube that the puzzle. So it almost gave me also a little bit of a flashback to, was it The Witness? Do you remember there was like the puzzle game?
Yes, yeah, Witness. Yeah,
When it started off, I thought, oh, it's almost like a Witness sequel of a sort. But yeah, it's I like to see more of it. But yeah, it's on my list to want to have a look, because again, I'm intrigued. And like you said, the developers who their history is.
And I like a game that gives you really unique visuals.
Yes,
it does something very different, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But because I really enjoy a game that just throws something you haven't seen before at you, and that's what this felt like this was doing.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not sure if I've got anything brand new, but no, I've got a couple. Well, no, I'm going to say this one anyway. Gen Atlas was
I was on my list as well. That was next on my list. Yeah.
So
I like this.
Wasn't it? So it's from the creator of like
Fumito Ueda.
Yeah, Eco and was it Shadow of the Colossus?
Yep, Shadow of the Colossus and Last Guardian, and he's
and it again, there's that vibe, because the trailer is like someone in like this barren wilderness, isn't it? And you see these like big titans, these big mechs, and it again, there's not much to it, but then it kind of changes, and you've got a little bit of like space flight, not space, but like air vehicle kind of thing going on, and it's just intriguing. I want to know more about it, but it looks like it could be one of those like poignant single player stories.
Yeah, I think there's lots of places you can go with that as well, and I really liked the more action style elements of it as well, because that's not like there was a little bit of fighting, I guess, in Shadow of the Colossus, not much in Ico, but this looks like there's a lot more of that. You're shooting guns at hordes of things rushing towards you.
Third person shoot a bit. Yeah.
So that looked really, really interesting.
Yeah. So again, and again, like we were saying, long live like these single player kind of narrative.
And it's been a minute since this guy's been around doing something like that. I think like I said, Last Guardian was the last one he'd released. We had seen it before, when it was called Project Robot, but it was literally you just saw the head thing and then a bunch of people rushing towards, or robots rushing towards you, and then it kind of lifts off, and that was it. And it just came up with a splash. So it was nice to see a lot more of this. My next one is one we've definitely seen before, but I'm going to talk about it because I've spent a lot of today playing the previous Control. So, so this is Control Resonant. And again, I really enjoyed a different flavor of trailer. And bearing in mind, this is out in 2 months. This is out in September, right? 3 months. This is looking so polished, and I love what Remedy do. We said, I said I like games that do stylistic very differently. Yeah. And Control and Remedy in general do that all over Alan Wake and everything. They're always very stylized and very different. And Control, we're just playing it today, and there's certain things you're doing a mission, you're wandering through, and you just walk into an area and the words come up in big white writing in dung on the screen, or then you've got a silhouette of a man talking while you're wandering, and it's just like this stuff is so awesome when they just throw random stuff at you throughout again, and Remedy are masters at this. So I'm really looking forward to this. The trailer looked phenomenal again, some really cool stuff in there. So I can't wait for this one to come out then.
Yeah, I've got that in my sort of top 10, of games announced. Yeah, like you, I'm a huge Remedy fan. And we were talking, weren't we, the other day, that I feel like not that they're underappreciated, that nobody likes them or they don't get praise, but I feel like they should be talked about a lot more than they are. And so all I was going to say, because like you said, the biggest hit, like Max Payne, Alan Wake 1, I love that. Alan Wake 2, Quantum Break, where they did that TV show vibe, which they were trying to do in Alan Wake as well. Control, misstep with Firebreak. However, having said that, you and I loved that when we played, because it was a fun co-op experience,
it was a bunch of fun.
wasn't
I
it?
think there was so many of those around at the
Yeah.
time, though, for
Yeah.
anything to try and narrow that gap. It's just never going to
Yeah.
happen. It's no matter how good it was or how fun it was.
Yeah, so I'm really
Yeah.
hoping that this is going to continue the kind of like their big game success.
Yeah, agreed. And I actually ended up going to bed very late from Friday because one reason. So straight after the show, all the press released their previews of Control Resonant, which I went away and read, and they were all stunningly glowing. Like, Polygon, Eurogamer. I think Eurogamer was something like, this is how you do an action RPG.
Yeah.
Like, there are, because that's basically what they've done. They've now taken what was Control, which is a third-person shooter, done excellently, and now thrown it at a proper full-on action RPG with all the elements you'd expect from it. So, yeah, I'm super looking forward to this. Right. What's next on yours?
The next one for me, and I'll just get my note there, is End of Abyss.
End of Abyss, remind me.
So that was kind of like it's weird. It's top down, and then from behind, it almost looks like a twin stick kind of shooter vibe, but crossed with little nightmares. So your character
must have done that much to me.
So it's kind of like the trailer is like your character going through. I can't remember what it is, but it's very dark, obviously, because you're having to light everything with a torch. It's like some tunnels, etc. You're coming across these like mutated creatures, etc. But the way it looks like, it's almost like the way it's controlled is like that top-down isometric for a lot of it. So it looks like
I do vaguely remember this. Yeah, it looked very stylized. I remember liking it because it looked good, not because I'd want to play it. I think. Yeah,
so it feels like it's a twin stick controlled game, but like I said, it's got that Little Nightmares vibe in terms of it doesn't look like it's a horrifically scary game in terms of how they're delivering it. But then you come up across these monsters, and it looks like you probably descend into a lot more kind of nightmarish things. So yeah, End of Abyss is something I'm quite that I've got on my
Your kind of thing.
Yeah.
You like old survival horrors, don't you know?
Apparently I do. Yeah, apparently I do.
You do.
Yeah.
Saying I didn't, but I do now.
Didn't. I'm like you with Souls-likes, isn't it?
Roguelikes.
No, Souls-likes. We'll get you on that.
I have downloaded Bloodborne.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know what I'm doing to myself. I have played it before, but I don't know how when my save game is. I think it's maybe about a third of the way in some uncalled away. Right. I've only got one more, so I don't know how many you've got. But the last one is one that again we're seeing very shortly, and that's just Black Flag resynced. Everything I see about this just makes me like, oh man, I can't wait for that. It's going to tide me over, but with so much coming out, I don't want to get time to play all these. Damn.
That is the problem. I mean, I had Black Flag resynced as well, mainly because again it just looks stunning. I was always a massive Assassin's Creed fan, and I remember at the time, I think I've said this story before on here, but not looking forward initially to Black Flag because I thought pirates, how are they going to do it? It's going to be totally different. But then remember, it was other than Ezio games that it was probably my favourite game of the series. The way it played, and to just have it modernized. Look, they are doing a lot of remakes. There's a lot of remasters, but there are some games now that when I like replaying games, I wouldn't want to go back to play this because I think it would be. I think I tried. I think it's just really clunky and dated. So to have a modern version of it, I'm all in. Yeah,
and that's the thing that I forget about these games. Like Black Flag. Like when you see all the previews, they're like, "Yeah, you didn't have a crouch button," and you're like, "You're an assassin." Like, in what world would you not be able to crouch?
Yeah.
But it was like an auto thing that you did when you were tailing someone or something, and the combat was very. It just shows how far along these games have made. The Assassin's Creed games in particular have come from the original, the very first Assassin's Creed. There was nothing like, if you went and got back to try that game, you'd be like, it was all about the parkour, and even that wouldn't hold up to today's lofty standards that we have as gamers, and the combat again, wouldn't be as good. Just gaze, from
Yeah.
small acorns,
Yeah.
Mr. Molyneux.
Mr. Molyneux.
All right,
I
Mr.
had a few more games.
Go for it.
I'll rattle them off and see what you think. So I had, just because it actually came out of nowhere for me, The Wolf Among Us 2.
Yes, I've not played the original, so
Yeah.
you will have to.
Well, I've played
Explain.
the original. The original, I'm sure at the time it was one of those Telltale games. So it was kind of like this episodic choices. Now, it's based on Fable, right? The Fables. Is it Fable stories?
Yeah, DC Comics.
Yeah. Which I remember at the time, my wife, weirdly, though, not being into comics, but she liked that kind of sort of fairy tale in real life kind of stories. It's so long since the original. To be honest, I forgot to look it up, but it's been so long since the original that it kind of blew me away that they have done this now. And that they announced the first one being remastered as well, yeah.
Yes, that's out this year, and then the Wolf Among Us 2 is next year.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, so it's set in a world, isn't it, where fairy tales, I think it's some disaster or something, or someone is like hunting down and killing the fairy tale characters. So their fairy tales now hiding amongst people in the real world. So like with alter egos, etc. And you've got the main character is like a detective called Bigby Wolf, who who is, I wonder what he
Big
is
Bad Wolf?
with his name. Big
Wolf.
Wolf.
Big Bad Wolf. Yeah.
But so, and I loved all those kind of select your own choice, sort of games. Select your own adventures.
Well,
So,
the Walking Dead and the Batman were the ones I played that they did. They were phenomenal.
Yeah,
the
Walking
ones.
Dead, Batman. I think they did a Borderlands one, Tales from the Borderlands.
Yes.
Yeah, so cool. So look forward to that random one. What else did I have? I had Stellar Blade 2. I mean,
oh yeah, I was going to mention that, but I left it to you because I've only played 2 hours of the first one.
I mean,
this weekend though, Steve, I really enjoyed it.
Talked about the original one on here a lot because I've recently played that. Really enjoyed that, and this one looks great because while I said not necessarily criticism, but the first game was very much in like a barren world. There's a reason. If you play the game, you'll know why. But this feels like, I think it's a prequel, or at least in a sort of another world where it's inhabited, and you see like the train, etc., and people, and it feels like it's going to just give that bit more dimension to it. So
yeah, different lead. So this is Evie,
not Eve.
Eve in the first. So different lead. But yeah, I really like the look of the trailer. Did they show gameplay, or was that
I think there was
CGI heavy type stuff?
I think there was a bit of gameplay towards the end. I think some of the battle.
And this one's very different. Rather than swords, it's fists.
It looks like it's close.
She's punchy.
Yeah, punchy.
Rather than slicey. Yeah. I mean, we will talk about this in the next episode. My adventures in the first game, and the frankly insanity of some of the physics. But it's an interesting game. But I really like this again, the stylistic choices made for this trailer. It looked very, very cool. I like the kind of cyberpunk thing anyway. I think it just looked really, really good. Yeah, that future sort of stuff. Yeah.
2 more. I will do this one. So while I said I was disappointed in the sense that it was the end one, is Final Fantasy VII Part 3. Not played Part 2 yet, but I've got that. So I'm due to play that soon. I'm looking forward to this because, as I said, I've never played the original one. I'd never got around to do that. And I loved playing the first part of this remake of it. And just to explain to people, while I say I was disappointed, I just feel for an end reveal, we already knew this game was coming out early next year.
Yeah.
And it just feels like, look, it's a great game. People would have been excited, but it just feels like this is where you do an unannounced game or a big reveal, like a mic drop moment, rather than something we knew was going to come out. Part 3 of a game we knew was coming out in that time.
And I said to you, I wonder if they did a bit of a switch at the last minute to run. I think they'd always intended this to be in there. I wonder, because Jeff Keighley had tweeted out or X'd out or whatever they call it these days, earlier in the day, that it would be a single player narrative adventure or something along those lines. And I wonder if something has happened that they had to pull that announcement. And kind of extended this or put this to the end to try that, you know, as they do with these shows, you know, these things happen. But it does feel a bit odd that this was the, all right, not one last thing. But the thing I find weird about Final Fantasy VII, look, it's a great game. I love the original, you know, back on PlayStation. But can you imagine talking to someone playing the original back in the day going, yeah, do you know what? Like in 20 years, what they're going to do is they're going to cut this game into 3 parts and they're going to spend years releasing them. And then they're going to be at the back end of game shows when they talk about them. They're going to be the biggest hype thing of the night. People are just sitting there going, the fuck are you on? Are you taking drugs? Like, it's just madness.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. And just one more that I was intrigued by is Alien Isolation 2.
It looked I'm a sucker for Alien
stuff.
Yeah,
you are. But you never,
I've never played Alien Isolation because I'm not a massive, you know, horror. It's not even horror. It's I don't like being completely underpowered against things. I don't mind having a fair fight, but I don't like when it's completely unfair. And so I never played it. But I still love that world. It's just awesome.
Oh no, I'll call it a horror because it was the first game where you truly felt like when you saw that enemy, you had to get away. You couldn't just run, sort of hide. Sorry, you know, not run away because it's not like you can just sort of sprint.
That's what I mean. I don't like those nemesis system.
Normally, I don't. I know what you mean. Normally, I don't. But what I like about this one is the first one was obviously on that spaceship, wasn't it? It was very claustrophobic, very confined. This feels like it's in an outside environment, like almost like a forest type thing.
Yeah, and that's what I was like. Oh, that's quite cool. And then they did show, you know, flamethrowers and bits. Still none of the, you know, the guns.
We'll see the Predator
pulse rifles. Well, they live in the same world.
But that's
they live in the same universe.
But yeah. I'm intrigued because it's now moved to an outside area. So I'd be keen to see, can you still make it a suspenseful? That was the thing for me, the suspense and almost the claustrophobic feeling of the first one. Can you replicate that in this?
Right, if anyone can do it, those guys can. Right? I mean, you know, Alien Isolation has become a massive cult hit. Yeah, since back in the day, and you know they've taken the time getting around to it. But yes, it does look a little bit special. That one, not sure I'll be picking up. I'm surprised you didn't mention an expansion for Mafia, the old country, because you are.
I'm interested in it, but yeah, I mean, it was just an expansion for a game. I'm interested in that, and I'll pick that up.
You're gonna get.
I was hoping for a new game. I would have liked a new game.
Right.
I do.
But it's a character from the later game, later in terms of when it's set, but from the earlier games.
I love all the Mafia games. They're for me, I even if they're not necessarily the greatest, I've got a soft spot for those. So yeah,
fair enough. All right. Anything else on Summer Games Fest you want to shout out, mention?
No, I think that was it. I mean, like we said, there's a lot of games, but
there's a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot that we kind of already knew. But yeah, I mean, look, between the ones we picked, there's some solid games coming our way, right?
But totally. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, because I just saw your list. Virtua Fighter coming back as well. Virtua Fighter Crossroads,
which was I couldn't quite tell what the trailer was for. Was it for a Virtua Fighter game, or was it for like a Streets of Rage set in Virtua Fighter world type game? I wasn't really sure what it was.
It's going to be interesting because I haven't got it. My notes here, but you know, it's coming out at a time when fighting games as well have had a bit of a renaissance, and you've got the recent Marvel Tokon game coming out. So is there space for Virtua Fighter? Yeah, we'll find out.
Like my library, but yeah.
We have to. No, there is one thing. Sorry, I can't believe it because I don't have my notes here. Stranger Than Heaven, the reveal.
Why?
Random. I don't.
What? Why? All right, Snoop appearing in a video game, I can kind of get. Yeah. But then, you know, Tupac. I mean, leave the guy alone, man. I mean, you know,
it just feels really. I wasn't prepared for that. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
The thing that frustrates me with this game is, and particularly that trailer or that showing, it told you absolutely F all about what the game is about and just focused on and here's Snoop Dogg, and hey, Tupac's in a game set in like 1950s China.
Yeah.
Or Japan. I'm not Japan, sorry. And I'm like, and there's a lot of naked Yakuza men.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, but what's the game? I don't understand. Other than, Snoop Dogg probably getting stoned.
And I think this is probably my issue with this show was, like, look, and Snoop Dogg is great. He's, in terms of, in recent years, he's become just one of these people you want to see on TV. But it's like, it was just an excuse to get him on stage for all of like 30 seconds, just to say that Tupac's going to be in the game. And it almost didn't make sense. It's like, give him a few minutes, give him a 5-minute segment, talk about the game. But yeah, I think
in fairness, a lot of the appearances were just that in that show.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
they were people showing up and going, "This is our game. It's going to come out.
We
someday.
Can't wait for you to play it when we release it."
We can't wait for you to play it." And then didn't tell you anything. They just turn up and go, "This is our game. We can't wait to play it." Thanks.
Yeah, I can't imagine that appearance, that cameo was on anyone's bingo cards this year. Incredible.
No, it definitely wasn't on mine. A dead rapper.
Yeah.
I know, it's not on mine.
Yeah.
I'd be turning in his grave. Yeah. Right. Shall we move on to the one that happened not 2 hours ago, Dan?
Yeah, let's move on to
the Xbox Showcase 2027. Now, there was a lot in here. 27 things, I think, by my count. That's including all the nonsense and chaff, of which there was a fair amount. Opened with Gears of War E-Day, which was an interesting choice considering there was a huge piece around Gears of War E-Day just after it that I watched a little bit of. Right, first off, we'll do the same, in fairness. What did you think of the showcase itself?
I really like the showcase. I'll put it up there with the Sony one. I really enjoyed both. This one, you had, like we said at the start, you only had 2 appearances, and who was it? It was Asher Sharma, wasn't it? Right at the start, and was it Matt Booty right at the end? Yeah. So they kept that element to a minimum. And I thought Asher Sharma came across really well in her little bit when she was talking at the start. Like you said, Matt Booty seemed like he had an appointment elsewhere when he was speaking.
He always comes across like he's like, Xbox. Are you paying me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll talk about it then. He's always cold because he's a bit weird.
But I thought the games on show, I thought they were great. There was a few I rolled my eyes at, but generally great content. Couple of exclusives that I'm surprised that they've gone back to that. I did see the PlayStation and Steam logo and Epic Games logo though, so people out there be prepared.
Social media's not have to remake from mentioning that.
Well,
it's not supposed to be there.
We saw it. But what about you? Because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think comparatively it was up there with PlayStation. There was a few bangers in there that I really enjoyed. Although Sony didn't have to put Xbox on theirs, weirdly. But even though they're cross-platform. But there are a couple of really looking polished games in there. Again, a couple of things you're kind of like, yeah, all right, but can you show me some gameplay? Because it's just nonsense and noise. So a couple of unexpected things. Nothing massive. Nothing on the scale of God of War Lao-Fei type, announcement,
no.
Which is fine. I'm okay with that, providing the rest of the content is there. They very heavily pushed day one on Game Pass or cross-platform, which I think, in light of, the new console coming, everything is going to be cross-play. It's all going to be available, play anywhere or whatever they call it. Yeah, was it necessary to show a bunch of stuff that we've seen a dozen million times, and we'll talk about those? No, not really. Do I really care about Call of Duty again? No, not really. But the stuff, a lot of the stuff they did show, I really, really enjoyed. But like I said, there was nothing on there that got me as excited as, Wolverine or God of War. But, maybe one, and we'll get to that. But
one for me as well. Well, there was 3 for me, and one was an unexpected one that I'm surprised I was as excited for. I think you might know the one. Old exclusive that wasn't on the Xbox. We'll come to it. I'll mention it.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
All I was going to say, is just to clarify one of my criticisms earlier was, and I think you said it is. Look, let's get it out in the open. Like the Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Online, Sea of Thieves, I don't for me in a game show, in a showcase like this, I don't feel I want to see things for a live service game that's been going for like 10 plus years. If you're in it, you're going to know what's coming. If I'm not in it by now, 10 years down the line, this isn't going to pull me in. So I just feel like, maybe if they might not have had anything else to show, maybe that's the case. But it feels like maybe you could show a little bit more on another game. And I just feel like these games that have been going on for years and years don't really need time in a showcase.
Season 20, you see a thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's run for longer than most TV shows. So it's like the Blue Peter of games now. Do you know what I mean? Like, get over it. I'm done with it.
And we know there's going to be a funnily titled or funny Fallout 76 thing. And again, not knocking the game. It's just, do we need to have a bit dedicated in the showcase? No.
Right, I'm going to run through these because there was quite a lot in here. And I'm going to skip over a couple because they were just dull and boring.
Probably one of mine.
I won't do that. No. Let's go for the top. So on the 6th of October, which was a big shock, to be honest, we do have Gears of War E-Day. This looks like a big polished, very pretty looking, not brown enough. I'm joking, but not brown enough Gears of War, right? I mean, it's got all the things you'd expect to see, roadie runs and, shoulder barges and, chainsaws. Look very good. It looked very, very pretty. And the after show, I caught 15 minutes of it or so, looked, it does look a lot polished. And like I said to you, the only thing that that weirds me out, maybe it's his knees, but when did he forget how to slide and jump? Because he can now jump.
Yeah, but he's a lot younger there.
He is, and that's what I'm on. He's North Spry. Says like that's the excuse. He's like, but he's in the ibuprofen club now, so he can't do it. In the later ones. Yeah, but what did you think?
Yeah, I thought this looked great. Look, as someone who's played them, but never massively been into them because I got to them late, so I felt like I was playing them because I had to. I was playing catch up. This to me is going to be like the Resi factor for me. That is going to be it's a modern take on it. It's a modern version. I think it works well that you've got them younger and you've got the modern technology to run it on. I think that's going to work well to showcase that. I thought it looked funny seeing them younger.
Yes,
it
was like odd. They use that de-aging tech.
Yeah,
that's what they've done.
Yeah, it was good seeing parts of it where you could see the world wasn't destroyed, like you said, like it is in the original games.
It's an awful lot like 1980s America, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really does.
So this will look. It's day one Game Pass, Xbox exclusive, but the fact it's on Game Pass, I'll be playing that day one because
they had a couple
fun.
of those in there.
Yeah,
right? And this whole people have moaned about us not deciding which side of the which side of the table we're on with this whole exclusivity thing. So they had to throw a couple in there, and one which we'll talk about later. Look phenomenal. Yeah. Do I think we've said before, and I've certainly said before, I don't really care. I'm not that bothered about it. I mean, if it keeps them going as a business and that's the reason for it, is Gears of War E-Day the thing to do it with? I'm not sure that's going to drive people to buy, an Xbox, even if it's a 25th anniversary Xbox. It's not going to drive people to buy it just because it's, because look, we saw Gears of War launch last year on PlayStation 5 and it didn't. Was it earlier this year? One of them, but it didn't do great guns. It didn't sell a lot at all. I'm not sure the crowd's there for that, but nice to have a couple of exclusives back for the Xbox all the same. Yeah, I think this looks really good. Marcus and Dom back in the battle. I love it. Yeah. Chopping up. Yeah, do it. Halo campaign evolved. Bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
In terms of they focused on the 3 additional missions, I think, some of which are set pre-Halo, a year before.
It was a year before.
Yeah, it still looks very, very pretty. I'll be picking up anyway because I loved the original Halo. It was something else back in the day. It's the reason I fell in love with Xbox in the first place. So, I'll definitely picking up, campaign involved and playing through all of those extra missions and stuff. You?
Yeah. Again, Halo, I'm going to say a similar thing to Gears of War. Got too late. Was never really... So I think I never really got the hype of them. I enjoy playing them, but you know, again, they were just games for me, that series that I just pleased I got round to eventually playing. This again, you know, the comment I made here was basically it looks really fast and smooth. It looks like it's going to be a great shooter. So again, yeah, you know, sort of Game Pass, isn't it? So you know, I'll be all over that, just, you know, because I can. But yeah, again, it just looks like we're doing well this year with games in terms of kind of the offering and how they're tweaking some of these older ones. It looks like it feels fresh. Let's say that. Yeah,
agreed. Yeah, it might be looking to the past for a lot of inspiration, but at least they're
it's a fresh take on it.
Yeah. And talking about games this year, mate, we are, I don't know, like, we're spoiled for choice, don't get me wrong, but there's no way we're picking them, you know. My worry is we're not going to get all of them in for a Game of the Year thing. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like, how do you choose? Because they ain't going to play half of them.
Yeah, it's all right, because GTA 6 will win that, don't worry.
You might. Right, this next one was very interesting. I've played a very small amount of the first game and a very small amount of the second game, and didn't fall in love with either of them. This is Resonance, a Plague Tale tale, something. A Plague Tale story. Is it a Plague Tale
Resonance,
story or a tale is a story?
I think it was Resonance, a Plague Tale. I think I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. What? Yeah. Don't let it go with this. It's just insane and nothing like a Plague Tale.
No, and that's exactly it. I've played the first two, completed them both, really enjoyed them. This feels far more actiony, far more fighty. And I think I said to you when we were watching this, if I remember right, in last year's show when it was revealed, initially I think this was a game that we thought might be a new Assassin's Creed, the way it came across. So,
and this one even more so, right?
Yeah. So look, I'm I'm going to play it because I've enjoyed the first two. I like how they're trying to mix it up, but it then becomes, is it? I guess what I'm trying to see is I need to see a bit more, because then is it a Plague Tale game basically, or is it just another game that they've attached that title to?
I was getting none of that vibe, because if you recall the previous trailers for a Plague Tale, they were all very focused on stealth and bypassing guards, and this was all, there was one, there was none of that.
Yeah.
It was just, gladiatorial scenes, slicing people up, bit of mysticism thrown in.
Yeah. Well, it was a stealth
completely
game.
Mad.
It was a stealth game ultimately, and sort of planning ahead and working your way around. And this just looks like it was, from the trailer, it just looked like an all-out action game.
Still a cracking there. I had it on my list as one to watch, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Next, I'm just going to skip over. I will mention this is Persona 4 remastered, reinvigorated,
super duper climactic.
I have no time for Persona games.
Yeah.
And it's the one misstep that I think Xbox made, is more anime shit in their broadcast, which Sony sidestepped. So, look, if you love Persona, there you go. You got one on the list. Or you got two on the list.
Well, got two.
Another one later.
Okay.
But after that, not that bothered about this one, but State of Decay 3 done.
No, I'm not that bothered, but we liked the opening trick, didn't we? The grenade.
I did like the tape player and the grenade, yes. Although, as I said to you, I'm not sure a tape spooler has the amount of strength it needs to pull a pin out of a grenade, because I think they've decided to be quite firm. But still a great trick.
Yeah. Look, I think I've probably dabbled in one of the first two, but looks fun, but it's not a game that interests me.
Well, you know how much attention I've paid, because I thought it was State of Decay 2, because I didn't even realise they made a sequel. That's how interested I was. I think it was at a time, those games, when I was zombied out.
We said there was a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot. And, you were also watching The Walking Dead, and you had all the, zombie, like zombies became...
Dead Island.
Yeah. World War Z, like all of this stuff was that. And it was like, oh, God, it's a fucking another zombie. Like, how many people will eat my brains? God, move on. Okay. We've seen this one before. This is Metro 2039. Those games always look amazing, but they all look the same, is the kind of one comment I had. But it still looked good. Very a lot of, well, visceral, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those games do, and grubby. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've only got one line here, and whether it's again a trailer thing, but we were talking about at the time how I've played at least the first one, but struggled with how heavy on the survival shooter it was. But this looked more action oriented. Now, whether that is a trailer trick, I don't know. But this felt a lot more sort of boom shooter kind of thing. Not boom shooter, but a lot more. Yeah.
That's the problem with a lot of these. You just don't know what it's actually going to be like. You know, you just like, is it? Because if it's just more Metro, that's okay. I played the last one, which a lot of it was about you were set on a train and you stopped at certain junctures to do things. And I quite enjoyed it. It's the most I've played of any of the Metro games. I played the first and was that the second one? But I've played ones before. But this one, yeah, again, Metro I can take it or leave it, and you know, I generally pick them up after, so they're quite often a graphical showcase, and this one didn't seem to be any different. It did seem to be, you know, quite interesting. Okay, next on the list we had Bad Magpie, which I first of all rolled my eyes, and then I got a bit into it, and I was like, all right, he's a bit cheeky, he's done a few naughty things and been quite funny. It looks like a nice little puzzle game. Reminded me very much of Goose Game.
Yeah, Untitled Goose Game, wasn't it?
Untitled Goose Game, yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. I didn't like how they just flew off and left him there. It kind of made me feel a bit sad. But
it was very sad.
And you pointed out that he had like the
got plaster on his face,
which made me feel even sadder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, these kind of games you either love them or hate them, right? I kind of think these are great side games, if you know what I mean. So when you're in the middle of like playing Gears of War E-Day, this is your calm down, your little chill down kind of game.
It's sad that you felt sad because it's a good job we didn't live stream, right? You're about to open a box of tissues for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So, that's for the patrons.
Move on.
The next game, trailer looks good.
Yeah.
Although another wuxia sword fighting Chinese/Japanese martial arts fighty game. So good that I totally forgot they'd done a first one.
Yeah,
this is Wolong Two Wings of Ember.
Yeah. Look good, but I've not played the original, so I might do. Just
very pretty. Very kind of sword fight. I like all of these. I think Sony did one, and there was a couple at Summer Games Fest as well with what was the one at Summer Games Fest with that Puppet Master dude was...
oh, yes, yeah.
That looked quite cool.
Yeah.
But again, you know, they're all...
Based on a
trailers.
book series, was it? Based
yeah,
on?
I can't remember. Some nonsense. The next one, I actually thought was a documentary for the current state of the United States, but it wasn't. It was Join Us, which is a cult simulator, I think.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Just what it is. They like, I'm sorry, you never got away with that. You know, a few years ago going, what's a game about? It's just join a cult, commit suicide, you know, kill people. Yeah, we're not putting that on the Xbox.
It's
now
anything, just take it's like it's basically it feels like a lot of studios you do a like a word jumble and then just stick simulator at the end of it, basically, doesn't it? It's like, you know. Yeah.
That I couldn't. I was just like, are you? Up until a certain point, I think up until about 2 minutes into the show, I was like, this is fucking weird. And then all of a sudden, it was like you got all these like Cthulhu type elements and
it
aliens.
Turns,
and I was
doesn't
like,
it?
oh, okay.
It looks serious. Yeah, the opening looks serious, and I'll be honest, it felt like it was a Far Cry 5 spin-off. At the start, yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was literally. I thought it was going to come and say Ubisoft.
5, yeah. But then it gets to a point, like you said, where it just loses a plot, literally, and it's just all sorts of crazy shenanigans, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. Can I just play the back end of a game?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Can I can I pay someone to farm the front end of a game and then let me play the last bit?
Yeah.
Elon Musk. Okay. I'm going to let you take this one because I know you're a massive fan.
Yeah, the next one is it's Senua. So it's so I've had a look. It is the third game. So it's the third game in the Hellblade series, but it's not got Hellblade in the title. So I'm interested in that. Yeah, I mean, look, I've played Hellblade 1, Hellblade 2, Senua's Sacrifice, right? the games are phenomenal, both in how they look, the voice act, the acting of the main character, how she portrays the character. I know some people have got issue with gameplay in that there's not much gameplay other than sort of walk, fight. But I've really enjoyed the first two, and again, this looked a lot more kind of accessible in the sense of it. Again, it's the theme I'm using throughout. It looked a lot more actiony. It looked a lot kind of brighter, didn't it? It looked a lot more full on in the fighting. So that's why I'm going to be interested to know a little bit more around the game itself. But it just, again, it looked great, didn't it?
It looks fantastic. I mean, those games, they take their time, but they always look phenomenal. And it does make me wonder, because you remember with the second Hellblade 2, they took a lot of time drip feeding the general public with, this is what we're doing, this is where, and it makes you wonder if this was kind of made in parallel, or at least certainly very, very, very much straight after, because they seem to be quite far along in development. And I do wonder if this is, you said there's no mention of the former title, it is just Senua, or I wonder if this is almost like a side slice of focused on her and ups the ante on the combat, which I could get into. Right, I played the first one. I must have got a fair way into it, and then I got into this really annoying bit where things kept repeating in forests, and I couldn't understand what was happening, and I couldn't find my way out. My son, by the way, loves these games. He absolutely loves them. Hi, Reese. But the second game, I did the bit on the beach at the beginning, and then went, I can't fight properly, and then gave up. I was a bit rubbish at it. So I might go back to it though, because it is stunning, and it was very much when I was playing with the headphones, because the oral thing is absolutely one to go after.
Well, look, the first two games are very dark, and I mean that both in kind of tone and also visual.
Massively.
But this one, it just gave off a totally different vibe. So again, I'm really looking forward to this. And this for me is another one we've seen a real kind of appreciation in the last couple of years, especially like with Death Stranding and Expedition 33, of the actors in the games. And this is one that probably kicked it off a couple of years ago, because I remember there was a whole focus and like behind the scenes footage of this game being recorded. And again, I can't remember the actress's name, but she does a phenomenal job of portraying the character. So can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah. Okay. July 7th, Dan. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So Doom Dark Ages is getting an expansion. I'm going to call it an expansion because apparently it's quite big, rather than a DLC. So this is Doom Dark Ages Revelations, new weapons, new enemies, new pretty much. I loved that game. I genuinely loved that game. I felt like it was a game. Sometimes you play a game and you just go, it fits perfectly, and you're like, I can just play this game. I have no problem with any of it, and then nothing frustrates me. The mechanics work perfectly for me. I can parry when I'm meant to parry. I can, and that was Dark Ages for me. I loved every minute of it. Played it back to back until I finished it over a couple of days, and just it shone. And more of that, I'm sold. I don't care. I'm buying that. I'm playing it. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm not as big a fan of this shoe. Not because I think it's a bad game. I think when I tried to play this, I appreciated it was a fantastically made game and all the mechanics were great. I just think at the time, maybe I had a headache, and it's not a game to play when you've got a headache. So I think I do want to go back. And also, go check out a few weeks ago our episode on the Doom 2016 remake, which
good shout,
kicked this all off. But I knew as soon as this comes out, I know how excited you were going to be. And look, it looks more of the same, and that's not a criticism when the same is a fantastically made game, mechanics wise.
All day long. Doom Dark is such a return to form for me, because we've spoken about Doom 2016 and we've spoken about the sequel Doom Eternal. I didn't go on as well with either of those. Doom 2016 I did, and I think I finished it. Doom Eternal I really didn't go on as well. And then, but for me, Doom Dark Ages back to that almost original Doom, like, stompy tank, but with the parrying, with the, the cool weapons that you get. And I
And
loved everyone I with.
This trailer, the standout bit for me, there was a bit where we talk about verticality. It was almost like you were pretty much in the clouds and you just then come thumping down, So, the fact that, what we used to perceive Doom as like a clunky shooter game has now got all this fast action verticality. It's just, it's incredible where it's come along.
Brilliant. Okay, this one was on the bingo card for the Game Club boys, I think, back on I think for the Summer Games Fest, but actually arrived here. Crazy Taxi is back.
Or as I wrote down in my notes, Crazy Sunset, because I thought it was going to be Sunset Overdrive 2. So I thought Half-Life 3 was going to be announced in the Games Fest, and I thought Sunset Overdrive 2 tonight,
Showing your gaming chops there. Yeah, definitely getting Half-Life 3 and Sunset Overdrive 2.
Well, this started off. It's got that
it's got
graphical,
that
and then they were putting those cans of drink on the table, weren't they? And Sunset Overdrive was all based on that. So I maintain I could have been right, even though I was wrong.
And it had some 41 soundtrack as well.
Yeah.
Which is just... And two people communicating by text on this, standing next to each other in a car, which is just the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
That's what I said to you,
not
wasn't
just
it?
cars, though, Dan. Open top cars.
Yeah, that's what I said to you. Why she text him? She could have just shouted over. I mean, it's like...
Literally,
could have just even held her phone up to him, If you're going to do that, she wasted one of her texts. There you go.
Yeah, wasted one of her texts. You were so 80s. Yeah, I was 90s. They weren't around the 80s. Yeah, Crazy Taxi. Are you up for a bit of Crazy Taxi? I didn't really enjoy the first ones, but I think I only ever played them in the arcade. That's why. Yeah,
it was one that passed me by. I've played them when they were released, like as a retro sort of releases on the Xbox Arcade or whatever. So I've played them, but again, I missed the hype of the time they were out, so I'm not. I think it kind of passed me by.
But a lot of people like them, won't they?
Yeah. Well, they're those fun.
A big fan club.
It's almost like those fun time attack games, right? And I can kind of get the appeal of it.
Yeah. But I think that's what drives me nuts, and I can't talk about that. Then we had the announcement of, if you're into this sort of thing, the limited edition version of the Xbox console in the horrible see-through green colour. That
you say horrible. I think it's quite cool.
I don't. Would you seriously want that in your lounge?
Well, mine's sort of stuck behind a chair anyway, so I don't tend to see it. But
why then buy one? I'm
not going to buy one.
With something like that.
I'm not going to buy one.
You'd have it, right?
Yeah, but I think it's quite cool in the sense of it's really sort of stoking the Xbox nostalgia, right? I can see what they've done with it.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It's just nothing new, though, is it? It'll be a premium for it, and we know they're stupidly expensive already. Worth, you pay far more than you're getting with an Xbox these days. So, with most consoles, to be fair, with the price of RAM and everything. Anyway, let's not be depressed. Right, we had another couple after that. I'm not that fussed about. So we had Age of Empires: Raiders of the North expansion, and we had Minecraft Dungeons 2, which my kids will be overjoyed with because they love Minecraft Dungeons. Oh gosh, they often ask me to help them, and I'm like, no, I don't want to play this game. I do help them, but I still don't want to. Right, the next one, I mistook for a game that got announced later on in the show from the first couple of minutes, and then I was just like, this game looks amazing. So this is Devil's Deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this again took me by. I wasn't aware of this game, and I was quite it's a game I wasn't aware of. And when you're looking at it, I said it's kind of feels like a cartoony BioShock. And again, not a criticism and not saying it's copy, but if you look at the trailer and you play BioShock, you know what I mean. It looks really fun. It's got, like you said, it's almost got like the magic attacks. It just looks like a fun game. I mean, you've got that devil talking you through the kind of through the trailer. It looks quite menacing, and it's an Xbox exclusive. So
Yeah, which again, another exclusive thrown up, and you wouldn't have heard about it before then because it was a world
it was a world
premiere.
world
So you
premiere,
wouldn't
yeah.
have seen it. And yeah, again, what struck me, it looked very much like an Arcane Studios game. So it looked like Dishonored, like the character models, and maybe slightly less stylized, but yeah, again, but very Bioshock style vibes. I love games where they do that whole using cards for what, when you're just throwing cards or using them as spells, or and then the chains, and I love all that Arcana stuff. And when you mix that up with a game that looks like this, that could just only mean pure joy. So yeah, I will definitely be watching out for Magician's Devils.
And because the story is, it's about how magicians sell their souls to the devil, which again is just a fantastic kind of vibe to it. So
great idea.
Yeah. I'm going to assume. Well, no, I'm not going to assume Game Pass. I don't think they've said that, but it's on the Xbox. So we'll look at picking. No, it is Xbox Game Pass. No, it's Xbox Game Pass. So
superb. Yeah. I should, and I will. When I do these, I will put the studios up so people can see on the trailers who the developers are, because I'm not sure if this one was an Xbox owned studio or not. Right, the next one we have seen before, but I really enjoyed the look of it this time. I think when I first saw it, I was like, it looks a bit like a Souls-like type thing from the original trailer. But this is Vallamortis, again out in September, set in the Napoleonic Wars. Weird, but looks stunning in terms of the combat traversal, everything, first person, fighting mystic. I mean, who's ever done that? Like mystic elements in the Napoleonic Wars. Weird.
Yeah, it's it does look interesting. Xbox, it looks like Xbox exclusive again, and on Game Pass. So it's September though.
Real nice, huh?
September.
Yeah, it's September, mate. We've talked about it last week in our Sony showcase. Last episode, not last week. It'll be this week still.
Yeah.
September's just, and this is what I was worried about. There was more September games in Summer Games Fest, and now there are more in the Xbox showcase, all of which we didn't see in Sony. So this is, multiple numbers now. We're in 10s, maybe 20 games that are coming out September.
I think what this does mean is I'm definitely going to have to renew my Game Pass subscription now.
I think you don't have a choice after this showcase. Yeah. Then we had, I'm going to skip Elder Scrolls because we talked about it at the beginning. We had, do you want to say anything about Flight Simulator? I know you like the look of it.
Look, I
over it.
What I said, it's an update, wasn't it? So it was a national parks update, and I think it also had national air championships, didn't it? So like races between
the Red Bull type championship things.
I think what I said is I would love to be into the game because it looks amazing. Then you sort of said a very valid comment that I've probably travelled to a lot of these places, and I did, but I would still love to fly over them. I see it.
You know what you should do? You should stop spending money on holidays and spend money on a pilot's license.
Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't want to do that. But I have tried. I remember downloading like everyone did, and fly over your house when the game came out. You
said this before. I didn't. Not everyone did it. I did not download the game just to fly over my fucking house.
Let us know if you've downloaded Flight Simulator just to fly over your house. Let us know. I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. Look, I'm not into it, but I wish I was. But it looks, again, I'm going to say, it looks stunning.
Yeah, they do a good job of them. Not exclusive anymore, though.
No, I literally just saw
2024.
No, so it's on PS5 and Steam. Yes, so,
it is. Yeah. Right. Skipping over Whirlwinds meet Hidden Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Castlevania Belmont's Curse.
Yeah.
Bothered? Not bothered?
It looks good. But I think I said to you, there's a lot of these types of game out now. So is it like Hollow Knight? Was it?
Yeah.
Bloodstained, I think last year. So it looks good. Just whether it will stand out. So yeah.
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, was that one?
Yes.
I think that was it. Yeah. So this is again, like you said, a 2D entry in the Castlevania. Is this celebrating their 40th anniversary?
40th anniversary, yeah.
40 years of Castlevania.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Yeah, it's out on October the 15th. So again, the only one brave enough to go up against Grand Theft Auto, I think you said, which is true.
Yeah, in that month, isn't it? So it's like, yeah, they probably do really well because it's the only other game releasing.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm not interested to go to, mind you, if you got a backlog as heavy as September, you might not need any more
Having
games to
said
play.
that, looking at it, it looks like it's only on Xbox. So, so it's
You might not, yeah.
be
Limited
interesting.
choice.
Yeah, yeah.
The next one looked a bit like a Studio Ghibli film.
That's what we thought it was, didn't we?
Yeah, it really, and a lot. I love I said to you, I love the patina they put over it to make it very much look in that mold. This is Vivarium. I don't know a lot of detail on this, other than it's you dig for treasure and explore a detailed miniature town, which is,
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else on it. I don't know what you thought.
No, again, it looked good in terms of what it looked like, and I think it was in-game footage, wasn't it? We saw, so
Yes,
it did look
yeah.
genuinely like a cartoon.
Yeah, it was stunning. Yeah,
I mean, it's described as a life sim adventure, which normally isn't my style. But it is, again, it's Xbox. It looks like Xbox exclusive. It's going to be on Game Pass. So it's a sort of game that I love being on Game Pass because I probably wouldn't pick it up. So I'll give it a go and yeah, have a view on it then.
well, I can't wait for your view on Vivarium. Well, maybe I can. Right. Next up, alongside the normal weird as shit trailers that don't tell you anything, this was top of the list. I don't really care for this, but I'll mention it anyways. This is the trailer for Persona 6, which really was coming. I'm no interest in the Persona series of games, but I know they've got massive fans out there. I know you saw the Atlas thing and was like, oh, maybe it's a fighting game, and then there was all the horror elements, and you're like, oh my god, maybe it is. Maybe it's no, it's Persona 6.
Yeah.
It kind of the last letdown.
Yeah, not for me.
Not for you. Right.
The next one was the one that was for me.
Go on then. Tell ladies and gentlemen the next one down.
Spyro. Spyro is back. Spyro A Realm Beyond. Now, right, let me explain. So, having said, this is a weird thing right now, look at it. Having said that, I never really got into Gears of War and Halo because they passed me. The same was true of Spyro, but I recently bought, a few years back, I bought the Reignited trilogy.
I did too, yeah.
Came to Xbox. And you know, having played Spyro, I absolutely loved playing them. They were such fun games.
I found the first two very, very linear and boring. Like really so. And then the third one was a lot more expansive in terms of mechanics, things like that. Like I got into it a bit more. But the first two I played for a couple of hours.
But you know what? I think though, I like that linearity in a sense of, because again, it was a game, it's more of a side game where you can just play for an hour and say, right, I want to knock this bit out or this challenge out or this. So yeah, I'm actually quite looking forward to this.
As you may well, I think, that's okay.
So of all the big games that have been announced, Spyro A Realm Beyond. It's going to be on Game Pass, so,
Okay. Exclusive?
No, this has got Steam, PlayStation 5 and Switch 2 symbols on there, so yeah.
Fair days.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about the last game, Shane, because for me, this was the most exciting.
Well, not the last game. Don't say it because people will think you're getting excited about the wrong game here. The last game was Call of Duty.
Oh, I was going to mention it, but only because of what they showed after you left. But
let's say the last game that really we're interested in.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, the last game that we're really interested in, certainly I'm really interested in. And we've seen this before, and you and I spoke about it on the pod before, and we were like, coming in due time. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So this is actually going to launch in 2027, apparently. Clockwork Revelation. This game still looks fucking brilliant. Like everything is lining up for this. Yeah. I'm just going, I cannot wait for this, man. They're just, every little beat they're hitting correctly. What do you think?
I agree with you. This was very few trailers that genuinely make you laugh out loud. And the funny thing was, and I'm so glad you didn't spoil it for me, but you were a few seconds ahead on your stream than me, so I could really hear you chuckling. And I thought, I can't wait to get to that bit, and then it didn't disappoint. It's interesting because I think the reveal last year showed a lot more of the time mechanics. But this
Yes.
one was interesting because it kind of really focused on the characters and the humor and why there's a time mechanic in it. So I found it really interesting and a fascinating reveal for what it did show. I want this game out now. I mean, I want to time travel to the future to get this game.
And again, there was some character introductions in the previous trailer that were very funny. The "and fucking Barrow" comment in this one had me in stitches, and then the. So what I'm getting from the trailer, again, I've got no insight, but what I'm getting is you are operating in this city at large, very steampunk, and you have a gang of people that you work with, that you do jobs with, and it feels like a heist goes wrong, and you get taken back in time decades, and I'm getting the sense that you have to rebuild your crew and rebuild the city in a way that, because you now have the opportunity, because you know how it turns out. That's the sense I'm getting of it, which is very different from not the last trailer, but when it was originally announced how it looked. I think they've made lots of changes to this. But again, I was a bit worried. I was like, watching this one going, well, they've missed out a lot of the combat stuff that the last trailer felt, and then they got to it in the end. I especially like the bit with the kind of the automaton that was asking you about, saying if you've got the right credentials and you just go, how about bullets, and you go, welcome, what can I do for you?
The lift is unlocked.
The lift is unlocked. I thought it was very, very funny. I thought it's just hitting all the right notes for me as a game, and it's just also like again similar BioShock style.
In BioShock Infinite, BioShock Infinite visuals.
And I love that. I love that world.
It would have to be the biggest rug pull in gaming history, I think, for this to disappoint. And because like I said, I think it was a really clever, not clever as such, but I think it was a really clever reveal in the sense of what it showed us. Like I said, I'll say it again, the fact that it focused on the characters, focused on the humor, focused on the story. You can now piece that with the other ones, and I'm really looking forward to this.
I think they've got a lot of confidence. Right, it's now an exclusive for Xbox. So again, I suspect for a number of these games, they've kind of gone, look, we were planning on, and that must take a lot, because these games will have been in development for a number of these games will have been in development for the PlayStation. We know that E-Day was for sure. So to have pulled that, or at least leave it, maybe it'll be a couple of years, and then they'll go on, now we'll release it, because they've clearly built it already, or built a lot of it. And I think Gears of War was so far down the line, it'll be a surprise that they weren't. But yeah, I'm super stoked for Clockwork Revolution. And what I'm so pleased about is, when you watch something, you go, this could be really good. And I remember back to the first trailer going, I think this could be really good. And you see it evolve, and you're like, I was right. It looks like it's going to be fucking awesome. I mean, it could come out and be absolute crap, but I don't think this will be a bit like that.
It would be quite a shocker if it did.
Yeah, agreed. Ended with Modern Warfare 4 set in Korea. Look, I'm only briefly mentioning this because it really fucking annoyed me again. They did that Call of Duty thing where they showed some footage of DMZ, which is the mode they've just announced. They've done it before, but this is where in the extraction, right? So it's the extraction shoot something, and they've got these two guys playing it, right? And they're talking to each other like they're military operators.
Right, yeah.
Right? And they're having conversations like they're like proper military personnel. Not only that, when they talk, like when one of them's run up the stairs and he's talking to the other guy, he's out of breath. He's talking, he's not going, Fuzzball 00's fucking messaged me again. Yeah, he says your mum's a twat. Like, he's not, there's none of that. He's literally like, he's running upstairs, he's going, getting an extraction. I'm like, why are you out of breath? You've got control of it, dude. Honestly, it was the maddest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think I left the room at that point, didn't I? So,
rightly.
Well, because it's Call of Duty, right? I mean, look, it might be a great game, but it's Call of Duty. I feel you've missed one though, or my brain's gone. And I'm amazed that you've missed this one.
Oh, what have I missed, Dan?
I just think it's quite ironic because you couldn't remember the actress's name for the whole of the trailer. Yeah, you have missed it, haven't you?
I skipped straight from me. I went through them in the right. So, Fable now arriving in February. Animalist that takes the need. Hey, Atwell in Fable. Yeah, I was like, what's her name? She's been in loads of movies, and then I got confused with a bunch of other actresses.
Yeah, which didn't help me.
Atwell, yeah. I recognised her immediately, and I was like, I know who that is, and then didn't know who it was. Yeah. So Fable. Really different spin on what we expect from Fable.
Fable.
It
felt like a dark game, didn't I? Because at first I didn't think it was Fable because you said, "Oh, this is Fable," and I thought, it doesn't feel right because it felt like a dark RPG, dark action, you know.
Yeah. I saw them play games ago. That's
right.
Really
I must have completely missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not until you're doing that, and then it's all very dark, and then you see someone walking towards the door that's talking, and the dog goes, "Why are you dressed like a twat?"
Yeah,
and I went, it's definitely Fable. Which I love the Fableness of that thing. It's really different spin on an approach to Fable because it has been very whimsical, very but look, this seems to have some proper talent behind it. Like Haley Atwell, Richard Ayoade, Natasha Demetrio, who was the other actress I was talking about, who's in What We Do in the Shadows. She's brilliant. She is hilarious. And so, they've built this real pool of talent to do all the voice acting in it and using their likenesses. I can't wait for Fable. I'm just gutted. It's now, well, I say I'm gutted. I'm kind of like, how much? I think if that had come out, I wouldn't have played any of the other games before Christmas. So I'm kind of a bit like, maybe it's okay now.
Yeah.
February's going to be a great month.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But great show.
Yeah. We're really pleased. So I think there is a Nintendo showcase potentially some point this week, and then they'll be able to wrap up some Fallout. There's been a load of indie gav ones and some cracking games out of that, which we'll try and cover in our future episodes. Not as in depth as this, obviously, but we'll pick up some of those that we've loved and played. And then we normal service will resume next Tuesday with an episode on everyone's favourite blue hedgehog.
Yeah. I was going to be a teaser, but that's quite a teaser. But
cut that.
No, it's fine. Because Sonic has a birthday this month, so we're gonna do an episode on Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Well, there might be so many Sonic fans out there, mate, that they're just going to be desperate to stick around and watch it. And to do so, please do like and subscribe on the channel. Click. Yeah. Bells, whistles, all the stuff you click on.
Yeah. All I'm going to say, finish this episode, is firstly, thank you for leading both of these two episodes.
My pleasure. I wasn't just prepared for this one. I don't know if you noticed.
I think we've done better in this one. What I was going to say is, look, right. So we have seen 3 shows this week. We've reported on the 3 shows, and you may like a show, like we've said. Games Fest wasn't as great a show as we would hope for, but what we can say and what we have said, and I've seen some discourse already on social media, we've got a lot of great games coming along, right? And just because a game, if a game isn't yours, like your style or your sort of in your wheelhouse, doesn't mean it's not a good game. We're lucky as gamers at the moment. I think we've reported about sort of studio closures and redundancies and how companies are just out there for the profits and the shares, etc. But we keep joking about September alone. We've got a lot of good games coming out, right? And Absolutely. It's a great time again to be a gamer. And this is what we're here for, right?
Absolutely. Gaming is back, baby. Yeah. And if you want to hear all about it, just catch us on Gaming Views, right?
Exactly.
That's all for now, people.